What's up, YouTubers? Today we're going to take a look at the Hautmec Mini Swivel 500 flashlight. I have been looking for a swivel flashlight to replace. I thought I would just get an extra one of my favorite one ever, which we're not going to talk about entirely other than to show it, is the Rofus, and that one's gone. It was the R1, but I've been looking for a compact mini one that it does have a swivel, so we'll kind of just show this real quick. It does have a full swivel head, and the light works throughout the entire swivel. There's no dropouts, so that was a very good feature about this, and one of the bad features there. Let's talk a little bit about this flashlight. I almost said knife. Yes, I usually do knives. This is USB micro rechargeable, so it's not USB-C type. Take a look at that. It does work. I actually bought 4 of these. So yeah, these are actually going to be Christmas gift giveaways. There's your packaging right there. And it does utilize 16340 rechargeable lithium-ion batteries, so you can replace them with just any of those. Keep a spare one on you in case you don't happen to have USB or want to take it out to do the charging. A little bit more accelerated than the USB. I found the USB charge it fine and fast. These go for $23 on Amazon. It weighs 2.5 ounces, so very nice. In terms of everyday carry stuff, this flashlight's really good. In terms of some kind of comparisons or alternatives, my current carry and the one that I just use every day is the I think this is good, S1R2 Baton from Olight. Been carrying this one a long time. This one goes for $58, weighs 1.8 ounces, and has a max output of 1,000 lumens peak output. And it does have 6 modes, including an excellent moonlight mode. And then, like I said, the Rofus R1 is gone and defunct. If anybody ever finds the Rofus R1, this is the greatest flashlight mini ever. Please leave a comment below. I've been looking, so, well, let's dig right into this one. There aren't a lot, that's the other thing is I do want to say, there's not a whole lot of swivel lights out there. And so the first thing that really drove me to this was that I was looking for a swivel head that had a magnet on the back side. Let's go ahead and demonstrate how the magnet works. We're going to just go ahead and put it on this nice magnet cut blade, and it's pretty good. It's not as good as the Rofus, the strength of it, but it's definitely, you can see I can shake it pretty good. And it does a decent job there on that. So as far as really why would you want a swivel, it's when you're doing work on cars and so forth, and you just need to like hook it on the hood of the car under there, slap it on, and then with the swivel head you can go ahead and rotate it to whatever degree you need. You're looking something on the air filter, oil, otherwise you can just rotate it through a full 90-degree angle. So that's definitely one of the strong points of this one, is that swivel head. Absolutely loved it. All 4 that I did buy, I tested them all out. The USB ports worked. They all tested fine. The battery life was just okay. I mean, fairly, met the specs that they say, and I don't really remember what it was, but it's not going to go a long time at a super bright, brightness for the flashlight. But it did work. It's an inexpensive price, $23. You can beat them up, buy replacements, not a problem. And it's very compact for such bright output. It's tough to show on this. I'm not going to do like an outdoor test and that sort of thing, but you can kind of take a look at that, and I'll put it next to the Olight 1. The Olight 1 is definitely a little bit brighter there, so you can kind of see that in the super bright mode than this one. But hey, you know what? Obviously, the more output, the hotter it's going to be, the more dangerous. You're going to be talking about burning and so forth. But the output was just fine, so I had no problems with that. In terms of some of the cons of this one, I did talk about it. The magnet on the backside is just a little weak. It's really easy to come off there, whereas like with this Olight here, it takes a lot more, and it can really be shaken a whole lot stronger. So, in terms of that, I just wish it were a little bit stronger magnet back there. There is no moonlight mode. For me, that was a deal breaker for camping. Moonlight mode is on almost any flashlight that you have. You just basically hold it down for like, 2 to 4 seconds, and then it goes into a very, very low light mode. This one doesn't have that. So like I said, for me, I would never carry this camping because it's essentially a deal breaker. When I'm camping, I need that moonlight mode for the midnight peas that we have to do. perhaps, you know, and I might not have talked about this, but I think this USB cover here, it's IPX4, which I don't know what that means in terms of waterproofness. You can't soak this thing in water and leave it there for a while, but it can get wet and so forth. But this little USB cover is the flimsiest thing on earth, and I guarantee the first time you kind of rub that grabs onto something, it's just going to tear off, because it's absolutely held by just a thread there, and it's just really flimsy and cheap. So prepare for that thing to break off. It's gonna, with use, guaranteed. But perhaps the worst thing for me on this one, which is the double deal breaker, was that you have to go through every mode to turn it off. Almost every flashlight, you have some method of turning it on, and I've had other ones where you don't necessarily turn it off, or with one quick click, it'll go through, cycle the different modes. But this one, you know, sometimes you have to hold it. This one, there's no such deal. It basically, oh, wait a minute. Oh my gosh, I guess you just have to have the light on for a while. No, there it is. Yeah, so unfortunately, you have to cycle through all the modes. It was kind of weird, though. I wonder if I might have lifted up fast enough. Well, let's try that again. Let's see. So I have it on. I'm going to leave it on for more than 4 seconds, because this would be interesting. That would mean that you have to leave it on and use it for 4 seconds or more, 5 seconds or more, and then you can actually turn it on and bypass the other modes. There's your answer. So I'm going to just change that to, you don't have to cycle through all modes to turn off, but you do have to use it for 5 seconds or more. So that would be your last one. And that would not be a deal breaker for me. You got to know that when you do turn it on, you know, you're going to have to let it run for 5 seconds before you can turn it off. Otherwise, it assumes you're still cycling through the modes. So actually, not terrible. Maybe they can make it a little faster. But, you know, on the whole, you know, for $23, oh yeah, it does get very hot, by the way. So just make sure that you know, there's no like protection modes. Just make sure that you don't put this in somewhere that's going to be rubbing and accidentally turning that on, because in the super bright mode, it gets very, very hot. I wouldn't call that a con. That's just the way LED and light works. The higher the output, the hotter the heat. So yeah, thank you, Captain Obvious. Overall, I would say if you're looking for a swivel head that can mount onto something with a back magnet, the Hautmec is actually just fine. You know, the price is really cheap. Again, these are almost disposable for that price, so you can just burn through them. You don't need to worry about having 7-year life. 7-year life. This thing has lasted for 7 years. Fully contacted, but not having to put in USB to charge it. Oh well, I know. This is a little bit crazy on me. And, you know, so if you don't mind that, you know, or if you're going to use it quickly, and you will then have to cycle through and turn it off, just know you got to just flip through it really quick. No moonlight mode's a big problem for me, but like I said, as an everyday carry, a light little 2.5 ounce flashlight, this thing just works fine. And you know what, hopefully it will light the way to EDC in your collection if it's of interest. I hope this was of use. If not, interesting, and I appreciate the like and subscribe. Have a great day. What's up, YouTubers? Today we're going to take a look at the Hautmec Mini Swivel 500. Excuse me.